Good morning. My name is Sarah and I'd like to welcome you to the Knitting in Tangents podcast. It's Wednesday morning, somewhere at the end of March. I don't know exactly the date. Probably the 23rd or 4th, around in there. Anyway, it's a gray day here. It's raining off and on. Don't know how cold it is. It's not snowing. That's something. Today, let's see, I have some works in progress. I don't think I've finished anything that you haven't seen. No, you've seen all the finished ones. I have a couple works in progress, some spinning, and some acquisitions. I need to find a better word for that one. Anyway, and what else? Learning, what's the usual here? Yeah, that's it. So I'm going to just start right in. I feel like I don't have a lot of time today, so I'm just going to go right in. There are no finished objects because you've seen them all. Well, I have a hoe. I do have a hoe. I had started my March socks by my last time. This is what it looks like. I don't have, well, I do have that, but let me do this instead because it's got this pattern that they haven't been blocked yet because I'm waiting for the other one. They have a pattern going up the front side and the back side. They are ribbed. You could do them with or without a rib. I think I'll be writing this pattern up. I'm not quite sure yet with this one. But this is one of the new yarn bases that I have. It's a tweed. This one's a merino tweed. And it's merino nylon, and part of the nylon is the tweedy neppy things. I did just get in some Blueface Leicester tweed, which I think I'm going to like better. And I got in a new Blueface Leicester sock base, so that I think is better for socks. These are soft and wonderful, but I think for something that will hold up better in the long run, the Blueface Leicester will be good. So there's that. Here is the second sock. I'm about that far. I have about that much more to go before I start the heel. Yeah, almost 2 inches to go. And then that'll be on the the home stretch. So that's good. It's always good to get this stuff done, especially when you've set yourself a deadline. And I think I've said before, I'm not good at those, so far I've been doing pretty well. And I am excited. This is my pattern. This is what I take with me when I go out so that I know which, it's a really simple lace, but that way I don't have to count the rows. So I know where to stop and everything. This is one I've just started. My knitting group has started doing something we call knitting camp. It's this will be the third year. The first year they went to Maine because one of the cousins of one of the women in the group has a cottage in Maine. She lives in Maine. She lives in Portland. And she also has a cottage up on a lake a little farther north of there. So a bunch of people went there. I couldn't go on that one. And then last year we started doing it closer to home, although there were talks of going to New Mexico, I think, this year because one of the women lives in New Mexico. Apparently, we call friends in from all over the country so far. We haven't gotten anyone from out of the country, but just, friends how you grow up together, or you are young adults together, and you're such close friends, and then one or the other of you moves off in different directions. So it's just a way of keeping up with those people as well. So the New Mexico, Colorado idea was sort of shot down by the group. It's kind of a big investment. I just realized that some of the stitches are falling off of this. This is a yarn. I should take it out of the plastic bag probably. It is a rayon yarn, and it has a little, it's almost like a seam. I don't know, I haven't explored it too closely. It's almost like a, they call it a rickrack yarn. It's bumpy. And last year at knitting camp, one of the women, we do goodie bags, and one of the women bought this yarn in different colors. I chose here, let's see, I have some paper. I chose this navy blue. There, you can see the pattern better. And it has a little bit of shine to it, and it's kind of, you know, slinky, and it'll be weird. But anyway, it also came with a small little simple pattern that it's kind of a yarn store. It's more a fiber store for weavers, but they do have a few things for knitting. So it came with that, and I guess that was the idea, that we'd make these little scarves and have them ready for next year, this year now. So knitting camp is at the end of April, and I didn't even think of doing this. I've got another one that I haven't thought of doing, so you'll see that in a minute. So anyway, it's only 250 yards, so it shouldn't take too long. It's real simple. You knit and purl a couple, you do a yarn over, and then you work back. So that'll be interesting. It'll be a good little springy, summery scarf. So that, and this was one of the other gifts in the goodie bag last year. They had these little project bags, and they had different things printed on them. I don't remember what else, but I like the little bluebirds, so I figured my blue scarf in the bluebird bag, and now I've got to pick up these ends before, these stitches, before it gets, unsalvageable. There, so that's 1, 2, that'll be upcoming. Excuse me. So that is what I'm working on. I've done a couple more rows on my doodler shawl. It's not real different. I'm about to start the third wedge. So the end of the second wedge, you start working you do another row with feather and fan pattern. So I'll be starting that hopefully soon, so that I can take it back out into the world. I've got to count for that one, so I don't do that out in public. And tonight is trivia night, so I have to have something to knit. I could work on my sock too. That's always a good thing. So that's what's underway. Let's see, coming up is next month's socks, the April socks. Now I was going to alternate some yarn I bought with the yarn I've dyed, and do that each one every other month. Until I was reminded that next month is knitting camp, and I need to have my knitting camp yarn knit up by then, and that's not the scarf I showed you. That's completely separate. This is one, last year I led a dyeing workshop for the group, and we just covered everything in plastic and soaked the yarn and put it down and glopped dye all over it, and then we set it and let it dry, of course. And so we all have a skein of yarn, and apparently we were supposed to make something out of that over the year too. So I don't think I'm the only one that hasn't started doing that yet. But I have my yarn wound up. I've had it wound up for a while. This is it's the Blueface Leicester high twist yarn base. It's Blueface Leicester and nylon. I think it's an 80-20 blend. I hope there's enough light coming in. I can't see, so if there's not, I'll just have to do this over on another day, and you'll never know. Anyway, this is blues and turquoise and brown, and there's a sort of light limey green in here. And these are going to be socks. And they're going to have a cable up them somewhere, probably off-centered cable of some sort. I have had one in mind, and now I'm thinking of maybe another one that's perhaps a little more intricate, but we'll see. It depends on when I draw it up. I'm going to get it drawn up so I can start it at the beginning of the month, since I know what I'm doing now, and I won't have to put it off like I usually do my monthly socks. And that will give me time to get it done. Camp starts on the 27th, so that shouldn't be any problem to get the socks done by the 27th. And then go to camp. And this year we have goodie bags. I'm gonna do a selection of stitch markers for my gift into the goodie bag. Last year I donated all the yarn that we dyed, and that was everyone's gift. And I'm not going to do that this year. Everyone is actually going to buy, I think they're going to buy their own yarn to do. And we have several weavers coming too. Well, the woman whose house it is at is also a weaver. So we'll have at least a half a dozen warping boards. So we're thinking we're going to wind the yarn onto the warping boards and if you're doing a sock yarn, it will be self-striping. If you're doing something else, we'll call it space dyed, I guess. It'll be the first time I've done that, although I should probably practice something in between now and then. The way I'm thinking of it, if we have sock yarn and we do it this way, everyone will have a 4-stripe repeat, and each stripe will be about 4 inches, about 4 rows. So it'll be a pretty good repeat. But I think I'm going to go over to another friend's who is also a weaver and do one up to practice, because I have this other idea that may or may not work out. And I'd like to try it beforehand, and like I said, I've never really done this before, so I will walk you guys through the process. It's going to be interesting. I don't know, I do think some of the dyers you see out there do it this way. I know others have bigger, fancier contraptions that spin around and do different things. And one person in one of the groups I saw in Ravelry, this was a few years ago, she made, it's like a niddy-noddy for spinning, where you wind off your yarn after you've spun it. But she had, niddy-noddy usually has 2 ends and then a bar on either end, and then an upright in between there. This one had at least a dozen of these ends and bars and things going off in all different angles, and there's this whole process. She has a video somewhere on Ravelry about it. But she also did thigh-high socks. She would use an entire skein of sock yarn to do one sock, or I guess in that case it's almost a stocking. And they were very kind of amazing that she could remember how to do this, because I know I wouldn't. Although I'd probably put numbers on it to know where to go next. Numbers and arrows, because the side of the bar that you go on is important as well. But that's not what I'm doing. We're going to use warping boards, and that should make it much simpler. We can tie it off into the different sections and then dye them. So that'll be fun. Hopefully I can get a little video of that that'll be the end of next month. So I can put in a little section and you can see what happened and how we did. So that's for next month. That's I'm looking at last time's schedule, so yeah, I'm not really on top of it today. I wanted to do this quickly while my son was out of the house, because I like to be alone. I don't like talking to myself in front of other people. So what else? We've done those. I bought a few more things. Well, I bought them before, but now they've come in the mail. I just had to get this. I don't know, on Instagram it's been sort of all over, the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. And this year they put out a book. And it's a nice little book. It's got all this. It's nice heavy paper. It's great. It's got an article in it about sheep, the sheep of Scotland. It's got some walking tours of Edinburgh. I don't know how closely you can see this. Let's move up. Yeah, that'll help. 2 inches. And it has patterns. And it has lovely patterns. And I really liked, oops, come back. I liked this shawl. It's long and narrow, and I like that, so it's more like a scarf. That one's by Lucy Haig. It's called, I don't know, Dundin, something. And I like this hat. It's a little Fair Isle hat, 2 colors, by Carrie Westerman. It's called Burnett. And then the other thing, I'm liking this cowl a lot more as time goes on. That's by Gudrun Johnston, I guess is better for her last name. The proper pronunciation. And these mitts, I love these mitts. And they're by Isolde Teague. And I just love them. So that's why I got this, because, you know, I hadn't spent enough money lately. So I got that. And then the other thing I got was also by Isolde Teague. It's her blend number 1, the first yarn blend she has come up with and sold. I'm going to put it against the gray card here. It is a natural colored yarn. And I can't remember what's in it, except for one thing. Let's see, we'll start with the beginning. It has merino, Polworth, and Zwartbliss, I think is how you say it, Zwartbliss. It's about 40% of the each of the merino and Polworth, and 20% of the Zwartbliss. And it's a sport weight. There's 345 yards, 315 meters, and it's lovely. It's so soft and nice, and I think it's going to be the cowl that I keep talking about that I was going to do in the yak. And the only thing that would stop me is if I decide to do a 2-color shawl with this and the yak, because they're the same weight and they have the same yardage, and I think they'd work really well together. I don't have that here with me to show you how the colors, this pale gray and the it's not deep, but it's not medium. It's sort of a teal. I think like it's a foresty teal. It's more of a green teal, but it's not completely green. So that's the other thing, and since I've got socks and stuff to do, it's not going to happen soon. So I have time to figure this out. And what else? I have spinning. Last night was spinning night. I have a spinning group. We meet once a month. We try to meet once a month. It's not a huge group, so it doesn't always happen. Things come up and people, can't do it. Last night it was 3 of us, and my son went with us. He's been having a bit of a rough time, so he needed to get out and do something, and so he thought he could sit around with the old ladies and do this. He's always sort of been fascinating watching me spin. I don't spin a lot. And even before I started spinning, when he would see people spinning, he would just really be drawn to it. And he did really well. I gave him just some plain, actually, my friend gave him this yarn she thought was yucky. She couldn't quite manage it. And I think, here, we'll do it this way. He did pretty well for his first time. We don't know how many yards it is. We didn't measure it. It hasn't been washed. It just got wound up so that we could get it off the bobbin. So I think he might make a little hat. It's not going to be much of a hat. But it should be good. It's nice. Maybe I'll give him just some plain, I think I have some plain Knit Picks white, or undyed, and that could be the ribbing, and then he could do this for the hat part. And that would be good. I think he wants something else to do right now. He wants to keep doing new things and more different things. So I think that'll be good for him. And we'll do that. And what else? I spun. This is what I spun last night. It's not great, but it's not bad. I actually did it. I didn't have to fight my wheel too much last night, which was good. I just went, this is what I had done before, and I'd wanted to come up with a sock weight yarn. This might still work. This was my first spool. So I have these two together. There, maybe that'll work better. And I have a little more of the fleece, the roving left of this. So I think I'm going to put it on the smaller bobbin and then ply them and hopefully end up with enough to make a pair of socks. That would be exciting. I've never done that before, so that's my plan. So spinning, we've done that, new stuff, spinning. The Weird Along is not taking off. There's no one really interested, so if you are, please show up on the Propanicus Moon group and say something and put a picture of what you have for weird yarn. I got thinking that this blue, where did I put it? It's under everything here. Oh, it's here. It's in a bag. Totally forgot that I put it in a bag. I'm thinking that this blue rayon could be weird yarn. I don't know. If you want to, do, and if not, we'll just stop and do it another time. If so, and I can do, if I want to, I can make something out of that stuff. Right now I don't want to. I feel like I have things that I mean, I've got the monthly socks that is the task I've set for myself, and at least through April I have the camp projects that I need to make. And I'd like to get going on that cowl. It's taking me forever. So I don't know what else there is to talk about. Let's see, we had knitting group this week, we had spinning group, and it's turning into spring. The trees and bushes, our lilac buds are coming out. They'll be in full bloom in about 2 months from now, maybe not quite that long, but just about 2 months from now the lilacs will be in full bloom. We have a hedge across the front of our house by the road of lilacs, and they're all different colors, so that's really pretty and smells good in the spring. We did have snow yesterday. We had about 1 inch. It's not as bad as what I've seen this morning is happening in, the Rockies, but, that happens. Did I go really fast through all this? I feel like I've gone real fast, but I really wanted to get it done before he got back, so, what else might I have forgotten? Anything. If I've forgotten anything, I'll try to add it in when I do my cleaning up and editing and labeling and all that. I've been really bad about show notes for the past 2 episodes, so that's also my goal for this week, is to get all the show notes written up for all 3 episodes and posted, so I think those are good to have. Well, that was something I started. I just started today. It's been going for, this is the 2nd day, so I've missed, the the jump off point where you can get in and get prizes for it, but someone, oh dear, I don't know enough even to look it up right now, is doing a 5 shawls in 5 days. And it's not that you knit 5 shawls in 5 days, but she gives you 5 different constructions in 5 days, and you do, as you know, for a triangle shawl you would do as much as you can in a half an hour. That's the point. You just do it for a half an hour, and then you block it and you post your picture of it. And so I'm doing that. I thought that would be fun to do different constructions. She also talks about the difference in doing things with yarn overs versus make ones. It's, yeah, Aroha Knits, I think is the name. Is her name on Ravelry on Instagram. I don't know what her other name would be anywhere else, because as I said, I just found it and jumped in. But it is interesting. I don't know how long she'll have it up after the 5 days, but she sounds like she's going to do it again, so you might want to follow her one way or another, and if you're interested, and you can do it again another time. So there's those. What else? I do feel like there's something that is not showing up here in my brain. I do have a little bit of sniffles lately. So many people around here have had a really bad, I'm going to say flu. It's just they've been wiped out for a week or more, just completely wiped out. And foggy. I guess the brain fog is a real big part of this one. They'll look at something and they'll say, I can't, I can't read that. I can't understand what that's saying. So that's not fun. Luckily, I haven't gotten it yet. If we had wood right here, I'd knock on it, but I don't here. Maybe that's kind of woodish. Hey, bud. Did you want to say hi? No? No? I'd like to introduce you to Robbie sometime when he's being calm and quiet, but he's not. He's just going to sniff around and lie down. He's a sweetheart. He's crazy, but he's sweet. He means well. They all do. So I guess that's all. Thank you for watching. Let's see. Oh, I didn't give any names at the beginning, did I? I did say I'm Sarah. On Ravelry, I'm bsarah. On Instagram, I'm Propanicus_moon. I might take the underscore out, but that's not going to happen soon. I started a new one called Ello, E-L-L-O. It's what some people on Instagram are thinking of using instead of Instagram, since Instagram is changing over to a more Facebook-like formula. They're going to use an algorithm and choose what you get to see. They say you'll see it all, but who knows? I know I don't see everything on Facebook. They don't even come close to I know what I know is out there from different people. So I don't know. I'm not. The Hello is not as straightforward as Instagram. But we'll see. Anyway, there I'm Propanicus Moon, just plain. And on Facebook, I have a Propanicus Moon group as well. And Etsy, it's Propanicus Moon on Etsy, so that is propanicusmoon.etsy.com. You can put the W's in if you want. I'm pretty sure you don't need to anymore unless you're doing a WW2 or something, but those don't, I don't remember what those are designated for. So that's Etsy. The website is propanicusmoon.com. And I try to post the show notes there. I have been, up until 2 weeks ago I'd been doing it. But I haven't been putting pictures in with them. I need to go back and find pictures that are appropriate. And, do that. I put links to the videos on the website and on Ravelry. The Ravelry group is Propanicus Moon, and each video has a thread. So then there's a link for that. And I think that's all. I really do. I know there's something out there that I'm forgetting, but you know, that can wait till next time. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a good couple of weeks, and you have had a good couple of weeks, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.